Good afternoon. This is the Double A with the Shallow Sports Network. We're bringing you another show. Going to talk about a lot of things that's going on with the Tennessee Vols today. And with that said, uh, let's get right on into it. Okay, we got a lot to talk about with the Vols today, and a lot of things are going on with football. They just finished up the orange and white game, and the big questions coming out of the orange and white game is who's going to win the starting quarterback job. Of course, Faison Brandon is battling George McIntyre for that position, and looks like from what I hear from all the Tennessee uh, podcasts and all the pundits out there in Knoxville, that looks like Faison Brandon and George McIntyre are running neck and neck. So you probably won't hear who the starter is going to be until probably the fall. But myself, I agree with a two quarterback system until you can pick one if it's that close and it continues to be that close. But I have not seen anything on film to show whether McIntyre is outplaying Faison Brandon or Faison Brandon is outplaying George McIntyre. But with that said, that's uh, that's what's going on. Just giving you some updates. Right now, it looks like the running back room is real good. Bishop didn't play in the orange and white game, and it looks like the kid from Tulane, Jordan, who looks like he's going to be the real deal. He broke a run for like 61 yards in the orange and white game, from what I understand. Look like he's going to be the real deal. And the running back out of Murfreesboro looks like he's going to be the real deal also. And so Morris, Dwan Morris, he's going to be good. And then of course you got Baker, also is a good running back. So we're strong at the running back room, and then in the wide receiver room, very strong. They're trying to work out who's going to take Chris Brazel's place. So right now you got Staley and Matthews at the two receiver spots, and of course Matthews is at the I think he's at the X or the Y or the Z, I believe. And then they got they're trying to find out who's going to take that other spot, either the Y or the Z that Brazel had. And then of course your X or your slot receiver is Staley, and then you got Travis Smith and you got Radarius Jackson vying for that position. And then, of course, you got the Tristan Keys, who uh, and Dotson. They're young guys. Now, Dotson had got a year in the system, but Tristan Keys is another receiver, that a big time 5-star receiver, that we're looking for him to move up and get into the mix. So that's the wide receiver room. The offensive line still is up in the air right now. You got the right tackle, had Perry playing at the right tackle, and then you had Umarov playing at that right guard. Had Pendleton at the center, and it was some guy named Islam, I believe it is Haslam, playing at the left guard, and of course Sanders at the left tackle. Tight end room is pretty well set with Rashawn Brame, and of course the big tight end that played last year, uh, who played good, who's going to be the starter. Starter. Can't think his name right now, but you know, as a fan, you know who I'm talking about. And then, of course, on the defensive side of the ball, it's up in the air. Chaz Coleman has not appeared yet. He's supposed to be the big pickup in the transfer portal. But it looks like they have a lot of players and they have some depth and they can gain some depth down the road. Of course, Hobbs is out hurt, so he hasn't played. And of course, and then getting back on offense real quick, you got Moy, the guard. He hasn't played either. He's hurt also, so he should be ready for the season. But on the defense side of the ball, uh, the Jordan kid, the defensive end from transfer from Tulane, looks like he's going to be that first starting defensive end on for the Vols. And then of course Tyree Weathersby, I think he's still back. And we're loaded everywhere at the defensive end side and the Leo. So that's good. And of course linebacker room is loaded with everybody. You know, you still got Carter, T-Lander, and you got the kid from Lipscomb here, there in Nashville, linebacker, played a lot last year, number 13. And then you got a whole lot of new young kids that's playing good. I guess the some of the young kids are very, 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 very good. So we'll see what happens when the fall starts. But that's what's going on in football. And then of course the secondary safety is very loaded. You got about 4 or 5 good safeties right now, and then at corner we've got looks like Merritt's gonna be a corner, starting corner, and looks like Redmond is gonna be the other starting corner. And of course, you know Redmond's probably gonna be an all SEC performer. And but just looking at that, uh, we're loaded at all those positions on both sides of the ball. The kicker they got from Louisville, he's kicking the ball very well, and so I'm pleased with what's going on so far with the kicking game. Don't know much about the punting game, but I know the place kicking game is real good. And for as long snappers and all that, I know they've got that all ironed out anyway. But so that's what's going on with football. Uh, Tennessee still battling for David Gabriel Georges, the running back down at Baylor. Still battling for him and battling Ohio State for him. And then also the some other players in the state that they're battling for. Of course, you know they picked up the wide receiver Bowen from Brentwood Academy, so he's going to be an addition to this to the wide receiver room in 2027. Now let's skip over to basketball. Right now, Tennessee is. So let me give you a little picture about what's going on, and we'll go back to the draft later on at the end of the show. But just I'm building a commitment list here up, and so right now, uh, you know, Tennessee has signed Tyler Lundblade, a shooting guard, 6'6", 200 out of Belmont. He committed to him in the transfer portal, and then D-Day Ames, a guard. He can play point, but he's more of a shooting guard, 6'2", 200 pounds out of Cal. And then of course the new coach that Tennessee hired, uh, one of the new coaches they hired during the season, so I think his last name's Morgan. He recruited both of these guys when he was at Loyola Chicago and at Cal. So that's the connection right there to both of those guys. But then also Miles Rubin, he's another guy that was recruited by the same guy that's on Tennessee's coaching staff. And Rubin is 6'10", 220 pounds. He's a shot blocker type, and he can score. And so he's more or less going to fill the role of Felix Akpara. And so right now we got 3. And just looking at some of the other players that Tennessee has in the fold, coming in. Uh, they got a center forward, Magoon Warth from San Diego State, 7-footer. They're looking at bringing him in for a visit. The big one right now is Juke Harris, who was recruited by Tennessee, and he came down to Tennessee and Wake Forest, and he picked Wake Forest a few years ago. Tennessee's doing their due diligence, and Coach Barnes had an in-home visit with him, I think, on either Monday or yesterday, but they had an in-home visit with him, and right now, Tennessee's hopeful. It's between Tennessee and North Carolina, and I think it's another team in the running for this player too. Tennessee, North Carolina, and Michigan. They're the two teams that's vying for Juke Harris, and he's about 6'7", small forward that can really shoot the ball. And then of course another kid that they're looking at is Terrence Hill out of VCU, very good shooter. He averaged, I think, like 28 points per game in the NCAA playoffs, and that was against I think it was against Duke and someone else they played against, but he was very good. And then of course Preston Edmill from Hofstra, another guard. Lazarek Houston, another guard from Central Missouri. And then Monty Williams, you should know about him. He was the kid that was having a lot of problems and issues financially, and I think someone in his family was sick, and he played for Montana. And Tennessee raised $50,000 for his family to help out. And then of course Kobe Garland, another player out of San Jose State. Thomas Dowd, I think he went to Auburn. He was a forward out of Troy. And I think he signed with Auburn. And then you got Bryson Tiller. He's a forward out of Kansas. He's another player that Tennessee's looking at. And of course, Emmett Adair, another forward out of Loyola, Loyola, Chicago. So they're really digging in their heels and trying to get players in there to fill the vacant spots. And then just give you an update on some of the players that transfer out. Carey signed with Missouri. He committed to Missouri in the portal. And of course, you know about Estrella committing to Michigan in the portal. So far, none of the other players have committed to any schools as of yet. Now, Masamba, the news was Masamba's trying to make his way back. And we don't know if they're going to take him back or not, but Masamba is trying to come back to Tennessee, and he went in the portal. He's one of the first ones to go in the portal. And then the other big news is Tennessee hired Earl Grant as assistant coach to fill Justin Gainey's spot. Well, I guess Justin Gainey, the daddy, fill his spot as the assistant head coach in basketball. So that's what's going on in basketball. With women's basketball, they've picked up at least 3 transfer portal players in the portal. So finally, Coach Carl was trying to get her type players in, and we'll see what happens with that. You know, they didn't have a very successful season as one would thought this past year, but hopefully she can get it all turned around and get the players in that fit her system. And she runs sort of like a press system, sort of like the Billy Ball down at Texas A&M. They press the whole floor, sort of like what Nolan Richardson had at Arkansas when he was there coaching back in the day. So she needs players that's going to be energized and in very good shape in order to play in that system. And then also baseball, they had a double hitter that they won yesterday, I believe, against Mississippi State, and that was the first time they'd ever played that well. I mean, you know, they have the capability of being a great team. It's just they haven't shown it yet, you know. And then of course, like I say, basketball is popping. football's popping, baseball's popping. And one of the other things too I want to look at now is so we always look at what's going on with the draft with the balls. So it looks like I haven't updated this in a while, but it looks like Joshua Joseph may not be going in the first or second round. I'm thinking maybe third round. Star Thomas, I think he's going to probably be a fourth or seventh round or an undrafted free agent. Same way with Miles Kilselman. Dominic Bailey, probably he's going to probably be a undrafted free agent also, probably. I don't think he's going to go in the fourth or fifth round. Bryson Easton, now I really do believe Bryson Easton's going to probably get picked. You know, he may be later on than what I show up here, but I think he's going to get picked in the draft. Chris Brazel made a lot of money at the combine with that 4.37 40, and he smoothed his route running at his pro day. He's going to probably go at the top of the second round. I don't think he's going to go in the first. If he goes in the first, it'll be a big shock to me. Jamal McCoy running that 4.38 40 helped his cause. Looks like he's going to be around 12 or 13 in the first round of the draft. And then, of course, don't know nothing about Jackson Moore, what he did. Don't know much about what's happened with Tyree West. What the pros think of him. I'll see if I can find some information out on what the pros are thinking on him. And then of course Aguilar. Now the Aguilar is going into the draft, and he has a good chance of going either the latter part of the second day or in the beginning of the first day. Because the Phil Simms, the father and his son, they seem to think he's the third or fourth best quarterback in the draft. And then, of course, Colton Hood's going in the first round. If he doesn't go in the first round, he's going to go in the top of the second round. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure of that. Don't know much about what's going on with Andre Turrentine. He's probably going to be an undrafted free agent. And he only had a 4.7 40. And he's a safety, too, you know. But if he can cover, you know, he has a good chance. Because think about last year, or was it 2 years ago, Jalen McCullough, he didn't get drafted and he made the Los Angeles Rams. So, and then you got Jalen McMurray, he made some money. He ran a 4.3 40. And he can play the nickel and he can play the safety and he can play corner. So I would not be surprised to see him go in the on the second day or at the top of the third day in the draft. And then William Wright don't know very much about what he did, but I think he's an undrafted free agent if he gets a chance. But that's just the quick scoop on Tennessee Vols as far as football is concerned and the draft. Of course, the draft's coming up, I think, on the 27th of April. And then it'll run through the 28th and the 29th. The third day is is 4 through 7, and then you got 2 through 3 rounds on the second day, and then of course the first round that first night. But with that said, that's gonna end this show, and hope I can have some more information for you on the next show. And we're going to see if we can dig in there and find out some more information on the draft. And then hopefully we have some more updates in the transfer portal in basketball for the Vols. With that said, that's a double A. Remember to like and subscribe. And we'll see you on the next show.